3, 2, 1. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good.
Nice.
Good to have you.
Yeah. It's about time.
It's about time. We've been talking about this for a lot of months.
Since it
right?
started, yeah. Since the idea started.
Since the idea started, yeah. So that's cool. So I want to start off by having you just quickly talk about your new business venture.
Yeah.
Because I thought I really want to mention that. I really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
And let's just quickly talk about that. And what is it?
Nice, yeah. So a little self-promo. So back in December, I started my own underwear company, athletic underwear, Tyson, because they're boxers, you know.
Good.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going well. I just sold my 100th pair over the weekend. I've only been doing it a couple months.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So a few months, 100 pairs. Tyson, where can people find these things? I've got a pair. They're really good.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of an underwear kind of like
connoisseur,
geek, whatever.
Yeah.
But they're good underwear. They fit well. They don't stretch out during the day, and that's cool. So if anyone here knows you or wants to check out Tyson, where do they do that?
AllieTyson.ca.
Oh, okay.
Super simple, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, website's there, pretty straightforward. I got 3 colors. I got black, blue, and red. More coming soon. Women's lineup coming in the future, and then I'm going to get into like everything else. Socks, sweatpants, muscle shirts.
Yeah, so you'll turn it into a clothing company.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. So there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now, isn't there?
Yep. There always is.
Oh, there always is. But it seems like it's just like worse. Not worse, but just more of it or something.
I think it's because the media is having a lot of trouble getting views and getting eyes, so they're really reporting just all the shit, the shittiest things that they can see and find. They're reporting more of it because the other stuff's not getting hits, it's not getting likes, it's not getting clicks, but negative things gets a lot of attention.
Right. Like our human nature is not to like good news stories.
No, it's really weird.
It's like we want to see other people suffer more than us to make ourselves feel better about how useless we are. Like, fuck, I'm no fucking good at anything, so why don't I watch someone else that's worse than I am or worse off than me, and I can feel better about myself or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's twisted.
Yeah. Because we're just getting over COVID, and, you know, my store's been back open, and my downtown location, and just starting getting that going, and now there's a lot of civil unrest, especially in the United States, right? Like
spilling over here.
Yeah. So I know you're a very political guy. I, on the other hand, am not really.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to be careful not to get myself in trouble chatting with you.
Well, it's funny because like sometimes if people say things or say the wrong thing and people start like, oh, deplatform him, like get him fired from his job.
Oh, cancel him.
Cancel him. It's like, you're my boss. So it's like, I don't know how to worry about that.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, we like to consider work a safe space to explore ideas.
Yes, and
right?
that's important.
None of us are hateful people.
No,
we wouldn't tolerate that at work, but it's a place where we can explore ideas and no one's going to say you're stupid for thinking that.
The worst thing you can do to somebody that has a bad idea, for example, or says the wrong thing, the worst thing you can do is silence them and basically say, hey, go away. Like, nobody wants to be around you. Nobody wants to associate with you. Or, what happens a lot is that everyone calls them Hitler or a racist or blah, 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 just for expressing something. But when you silence them and like cast them away from society, they don't learn anything. If anything, it makes that hate that they have fester. And that's why you need that freedom to express ideas, because the best thing you can do is talk to them like, hey, why do you think that way? What made you have that belief?
Right.
And then try and change their mind, like this is why I think that you're wrong, basically, instead of like, hey, you're not allowed to speak. You're stupid. You're not allowed to speak.
Yeah.
They don't learn anything.
Yeah. I saw today that guy with the big fucking head, Seth Rogen.
Oh, yeah. Just saying fuck you to everybody
he's
on
telling
his
everyone
Twitter.
to fuck off. Like, that is stupid. Okay, so, yeah, all lives matter. We get it. You don't need to put that in when he's doing a Black Lives Matter kind of thing. Yeah. Right? We get it. All lives matter. We get it.
Yeah.
But someone that follows him will say all lives matter, and he'll be like, fuck you, if you don't like it, fuck off, and instead of explaining to them why that's not an appropriate thing to say right now, right? Like, we get it, everyone's life is important, we get that, but that's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about Black lives and how they have been treated for the last 150 or I don't even know how long it is. A long time.
400 years?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. So, but I think the way he's handling it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just like De Niro. I like De Niro and everything, but calling the president a fucking idiot on like television or on awards, not good.
No.
Not good.
No.
Can you imagine if someone did that to Obama or Clinton? Right?
Yeah.
It's not cool.
No, and it's divisive because whether you like it or not, he's the president of the country. And if you're going around saying all this stuff about him, it doesn't make people feel very safe, doesn't make them feel very good when you've got somebody like that leading the country.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't vote for Trudeau, but I don't go around publicly name calling him.
No.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's been on your mind?
Lately?
Yeah.
Well, as you said, political person, things like that. It's just looking at all these riots and people looting and stuff like that. It's like, that's not the proper response to what happened because somebody unjustly died and you have every right to be upset and angry and emotional. But using that to go steal a TV, you didn't do that because you were mad. You did it because you wanted a TV. And once you start rioting and looting, you've lost all sympathy from people that were on your side, that were going to listen to you and be like, yeah, like, okay, what happened here? And it's like, now everyone's just mad that you're breaking businesses, and it's not helpful. They've lost the moral high ground. They've lost the respect. And more people have died, innocent people have died from the riots and the looting than the one that started it. One person unjustly died. I'm not saying he deserved to die. I'm not saying the cops had right. I'm not defending them. But when you go and riot and loot instead of do anything peacefully, and you get other black people and white people killed in the riots, you're having the opposite effect.
Yeah. But who's doing the rioting?
That's the question, right?
So, I don't think it's the majority of the people out there protesting for Black Lives Matter. I don't think.
No,
I don't know who it is, but it doesn't seem like it's your average black woman or black man or whatever race person just holding a sign. They're not the ones smashing out windows. Now, I haven't been following this all that close.
Yeah. Because
the last few months have been brutally stressful already, and this is just adding more stress on top of everything, and I just can't handle it. I've got to try and take a bit of a break from that, but
yeah,
the little bit I've seen, it seems like not your typical person that's smashing out windows.
No, what they are is they're opportunists. So they wait for a little bit of chaos to come into the system, and then they use that wave to indulge themselves in what they want. And that's what I said before about, like, you didn't do that because you're angry about the George Floyd dying. You're doing it because you wanted a TV. So all these people, in their mind, they've always had the idea, like, oh, I'd love to go, like, raid a Target or, throw a brick and smash a window. They've had that thought, and now they've got this excuse to do it. And I'm not saying that it's the protesters doing it. Like, I don't know who's doing it, but what's happening is it's hijacking the movement that's happening, and it's giving it a bad image. And that's happened a lot to the Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of people view them as a terrorist organization, and in a way hypocritical, because they're not focusing on the main things that are affecting the black community. Right? Like, you've got Chicago and places like that, like the murder capitals of the world, where blacks are killing each other at like 97%. And you don't hear Black Lives Matter in this outrage and outroar for the protesting that. Like, they're silent. But when a cop does it, it's all, up in arms. And the cops are, like, responsible for, like, maybe 2% of blacks' deaths. Other blacks are 97% responsible for it. And you don't hear Black Lives Matter on that movement. You don't hear them really addressing the issue of fatherlessness in the homes, which is a huge factor to why blacks are suffering, disadvantaged, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, I guess when it comes to the police officers, I mean, we all hold them to a higher standard.
Yeah.
And they should be held to a higher standard. I mean, they're policing the communities. Everyone expects them to be better than the average person, than the average, whoever is shooting each other up.
Yeah. The frustrating thing with that too is, like, you look at the amount of time it takes to become a police officer. And
I've heard in the U.S. it doesn't take much.
No,
training.
It takes longer to become a barber in some cities than it does to become a police officer. It's like 664 hours or something to become a police officer, and then a barber's like 1,800 or 1,600 or something crazy like that.
So 664 hours. That's like a third of a year.
Yeah,
it's nothing.
It's nothing. That's the academy basically, and then they're put into training. And I heard somebody say something, and I kind of agreed with it. It's like, if they're trying to be worthy of this higher standard that we're holding them to, I think they need to do a lot more training. Someone was saying, like, 4 years in criminology, like, they need to get a degree of some kind. They need mental health training. They need,
well, they need support for one.
They need support. I mean, everybody needs support, but them especially. They're in a very dangerous job. Yeah. But they definitely need more training, I would say, because they can't handle their emotions. It's like someone screaming in their face or something, or getting, showing a little bit of disrespect to them. And then it's like, oh, taser, bear mace, pepper spray, like, thrown to the ground.
Beat him up.
And then we look at that like, oh, he shouldn't have been resisting, or he should have been complying. And it's like, well, what about somebody in, like, customer service, and you get like a Karen coming in there and she's complaining in your face? What would people think if I just jumped across the counter and beat her up and sprayed her in the face with mace? It's like, that's not the appropriate response to somebody showing some disrespect to you, especially in a civil service.
So you agree that they need to be held to a higher standard, but you're saying they need more training so that they have the ability to do that.
Yeah, they need more training so that they're worthy of the higher standard that we're holding them to. Because, like, the training they have now is like nothing. And I've always looked at, like, the gun laws, right? So it's like people like me who have the PAL, I can have restricted and non-restricted firearms. But if I want to take my handgun to the shooting range, I've got to call somebody, get authorization, transport that, yada, 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 just to go to the range. I can't detour. Like, they're so strict with it. But with the police, they go through this bare minimum training, and then they can carry a gun wherever they want. And we're supposed to be like, yeah, okay, that's fine.
But you're talking about the U.S. police. I think
it doesn't matter. Canadian police too.
Are they not trained as well?
The Canadian police?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the answer.
I don't know. I follow the U.S. a lot more.
I feel like the Canadian. I know a few police officers in Victoria here. I feel like they have support though. Like, you have access to. I think so. I think you have access to counseling and some mental health type.
Yeah.
Things. Here.
Yeah. I think they need preemptive counseling, so to speak. And that's where, like, the mental health
you have
training,
to go no matter what every few months or.
Yeah. Well, learn how to deal with it before it happens. Like, hey, you're going to experience this. You're going to do this. This is a healthy way to react to it. If you feel this emotion, then, you need to come, see somebody. But.
Well, I couldn't. I definitely couldn't. I couldn't deal with someone yelling at me, spitting on me, and I'd lose my shit in a second. Like, I couldn't handle that. So that's not the job for me.
No, exactly. And that's the thing. If you increase the training and make it more intense, you weed out those people that just want power and a gun. You get rid of them. Whereas as the system stands now, somebody that's like a really bad person, they can get through that system, and they're not going to get, like, caught. With their ulterior motives, and they'll make it through. They'll get a badge, they'll get a gun, and that's it. We've entrusted them with this power, this authority, and force, and weapons, and whatnot. And that's what I find funny to the gun issue. It's like concealed carry and things like that, having guns in public and good people, right? Because the old adage, like the only thing that stops a bad person with a gun is a good person with a gun.
Okay.
And these people that like don't want the civil population to have firearms, they're like, oh, ban guns, then there won't be mass shootings. And it's like, well, when there's a mass shooting, what do? You call a guy with a gun, and he's the police officer. And so I've always had this mentality with the training. It's like, okay, if we're going to let the police do this training, and they can carry guns wherever they want, walk into a bank, walk into a store with a gun on their hip, and we're like, oh, they had training. They're more trained than you. It's like, well, why don't you just make that the test to get a firearm? If you want to own a gun, you take the same training that the police officers take, and there you go. And that's why, to me, it's so dumb. It's like you're saying the cop can have a gun, and he's going to take 5-10 minutes to respond to a situation with a criminal who doesn't care about the law, has the gun there right now, and you're saying I can't have a gun to defend myself. It blows my mind. The logic doesn't follow.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want people walking around with pistols on their hip personally.
Well, you don't have a problem when police do it, and that's what I'm saying.
That's true.
You don't have a problem. Like, you see a cop, and you're like, oh, I feel safe, right? And it's
not everyone.
Not everyone.
Not everyone feels safe. But I know whenever I've been in trouble, I call the police. They come and help.
Yeah, exactly. So you're saying...
But that's not everyone's experience, I would imagine.
No,
right.
It's not everybody's experience. But you can say that people that have this view of, like, calling the police for help, and then you talk about concealed carry, like, oh, I don't want, regular people carrying guns. And it's like, you don't have a problem when it's the police. And why is that? Like, think about it. Why do you feel that way? Is it just because they have this authority and this training? So it's like, well, give that training to civilians, and then they're better prepared with the gun themselves, and it's safer than the test that they have now. You get proper training, so to speak.
So to get a gun now,
yeah,
in Canada, if you can even get any that are left, are there any guns left that you can get?
100%,
BB gun. What do you have to do to get one?
You take like a weekend course. And it's basically watching a bunch of videos. You've got an instructor there that's got a bunch of deactivated firearms. He shows you how to load them, how to unload them, how to clean them, safety checks. Like anytime you pick up a gun, you got to check it first. Make sure it's clear, make sure there's no rounds in the chamber, all that stuff. Make sure you know how to handle a weapon safely, right? And you take a test at the end, and you got to...
They don't teach you how to shoot it?
No.
Really?
You don't fire a gun in the test at all. It's all deactivated stuff. The firing pins are out. They show you rounds and ammunition, but they're out of the gun. They're out of the magazine.
Interesting. So where do you learn how to shoot? You've got to go to a gun club.
You got to go join a gun range, yeah.
Huh.
So yeah, I'd say it's really easy to get your gun license. And then to get a gun, there's a big waiting period to, make sure you're not crazy. You don't have past violent offenses. So, yeah, it's pretty easy to get your gun license. Pretty easy. And the training it's nothing.
It's minimal.
Yeah, you don't really learn much. And then if you don't get a gun right away, you do forget some things. You do forget.
Right. Yeah, you'd almost think they'd want to take you to a range so that you know what it's like the first time you shoot a gun.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I had the chance to shoot a gun in the country in Quebec when I was there in rural Quebec years ago. I was like 20. First time I'd ever shot a gun. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's something, It's a lot of power.
Yeah.
That if you're, if you don't know how to hold the pistol or the rifle properly, you don't have it like secured properly, you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
They should show you how to shoot a gun right.
They should.
I mean, if you go to a gun range, will they show you how to shoot it right? Or do you got to just like ask somebody?
I think you could hire somebody, but just going to a gun range,
there's not going to be anyone there to help you.
Not really. I've been to a gun range, and from my experience, I went with somebody. And so we just shot his gun together. And that was the first time I went. So I didn't have the experience of going there and looking for an instructor, seeing if they offered that at the range type thing. But it seems like they need more, because if they don't have that, let's say, okay, you get your gun license, you go through that minimal training, you buy a gun, you go to the gun range, first time firing a gun, and you like drop it or something because you don't know what it feels like.
Yeah.
You know, you see the movies and people are just pow, 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 pow. It's like, that's
bullshit.
That's the bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why handguns and stuff are terrible for like home defense, right? You see in the movies, everyone's like, they're not missing, they're hitting headshots and stuff left, right, and center. It's like, guy breaks into your house in the middle of the night and you've got a pistol. You're gonna miss. You're just gonna decorate the wall, right? That's why shotguns are, ideal for home defense.
Right.
You got to do some drywall after, but at least you hit the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. You can kneecap them pretty easy with a shotgun.
Yeah.
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 At 25 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna do some damage for sure.
Yeah. You definitely. Yeah. You want to take precautions. You don't want to go for the kill shot just because someone broke into your house.
No.
And I feel my buddy and I were talking about this on the weekend. They thought they should relax some of the gun laws in terms of storage. Like right now, if you have a gun, you have to have it locked up, trigger guard, and then your ammunition separate.
Yes.
So it's like if a criminal breaks into your house with intention to do harm, you got to run around and assemble
You'll
this
never get
fucking
it
thing.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, you're dead before you even unlocked one of the locks. My suggestion would be get rid of that. You can have it loaded, but the first 2 rounds have to be like rubber or dummy rounds or something that you hit the guy with and make him second think his.
Or for safety, they just click nothing.
No, you don't want the click. You want to actually hit the guy with something.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So like the cops have, like the rubber bullets or something. Have the first 2 rounds in the magazine have to be non-lethal rounds.
Or what do they call less lethal?
Less lethal.
Yeah.
Something like whatever it is, something that's not going to kill the guy, but it's going to hit him and he's going to be like, oh, what am I doing? Right?
Yeah.
Make him second think it. And then that's why you get like a warning shot out. Right? And then that way, if your kids mess around with it or something, they're not going to kill themselves. Because if you have it loaded and you're keeping it loaded and you're a bad gun owner and you're not storing it properly and you've got kids in the house, they're not going to kill themselves. Because even if you have it loaded and stored somewhere, it should be safe. It shouldn't just be like
it should be
on
loaded
the kitchen
in a lock
table.
cabinet with maybe a trigger lock on it or something like that. Is that
not on the gun itself, not the trigger lock, but in a locked cabinet maybe. Something that if you heard a window break, you could easily open it and then you have it ready to go. You don't have to like grab that, walk around your bed to the night table, pull the ammunition out, click, one at a time. By then, he's murdered you, murdered your wife, murdered your kids. Like, it's weird thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty safe in my house at night, but, I mean, we live in a small town. So, I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen somewhere, a bigger town or...
The thing with it is, and people like to say there's like, oh, you think people are going to come murder your family? And it's like... Well, it does happen. And just because it doesn't happen all the time doesn't mean it can't. And it's one of those things where it might never happen. But on the 0.2% chance that it can happen, the consequences are permanent. The consequences are so dire that if it did happen, you're either dead or everyone you know is dead and you're psychologically fucked for life. So it's because the consequences are so high that I feel the way I do about it. And, other people are like, oh, you don't need a gun. You shouldn't have it. Like, people aren't out there, like, actively trying to murder you. And it's like, well,
but you're
not
not actively running around with a gun either.
Yeah, exactly.
Just shooting people.
No, it's for safety. Every time there's been a mass shooting or anything, it's been somebody with, like, illegal guns or some kind of mental illness and still, got his guns illegally. That's what criminals do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing with the gun ban that Trudeau's passing through under this coronavirus thing. It's completely illegal. It's,
well, there's a lot of people mad about that.
Yeah,
a lot.
It's
like they're legal guns, legally purchased, legally owned guns.
Yeah.
By legal gun owners with no criminal records. Now all of a sudden they're criminals.
All of a sudden they're criminals because they have these guns. Yeah. And they're
not assault rifles like people like to think.
Assault rifle's a made up term.
It is.
It's
absolutely.
Like this. If I hit you with this cup, it's an assault cup. They're just rifles.
Yeah.
And they're scared of the black ones, right? But then you have like these wood and metal ones that don't look as harmless, but actually fire a larger round and do more damage. But it's like, oh, it's black. It looks like, militaristic. It looks like it could hurt people.
Yeah. But if you paint it pink, it's okay.
It's okay.
Because it's pretty.
It's pretty. Yeah.
Paint it rainbows.
There
with
you
flowers
go.
on it. Mm-hmm. And the kids can play with them. Fuck, guns should look scary.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Because then a kid sees it and he's scared of it.
It doesn't want to touch
Doesn't want to touch it. You paint it all fun.
Yeah.
And then they want to play with the damn thing.
And it's funny, too. There's people that are like, oh, if you get a gun in the house, you're, 50% more likely to, shoot yourself. And it's like, yeah, if you get a pool, you're 50% more likely to drown. But it doesn't mean it happens.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you have anything.
In the United States kill more kids than guns do in a year.
Yeah. Almost everything kills more people than guns. If you look at it, traffic accidents.
Yeah, but we're not going to ban cars. But
no, of course not.
We're not going to ban pools either.
No, exactly.
I don't want them to ban pools. That's not the answer.
No.
The answer is education.
No, exactly. And that's the thing with the guns. Everybody's heard it before. It's like banning legal gun owners because of illegal gun owners and their activity is like saying like, oh, we want to stop drunk drivers. Let's take away sober drivers' licenses.
Yeah.
It's like that's what they're doing. They're getting rid of the people that are following the law and getting rid of their guns.
Well, they ban. Yeah, let's get rid of drunk drivers. Let's ban booze.
Yeah.
But I drink booze and I never drive anywhere.
Yeah.
So what the hell? Why can't I have a drink?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just like I own a gun, but I don't shoot people. I'm a lawful gun owner.
Yeah.
I should be allowed to have a gun.
Yeah, and that's why everyone's so mad about this is because, like you said, now they're all criminals, and they're like, I'm not a criminal, but you're making me a criminal.
Yeah.
For following the law and doing proper maintenance and storage and care and all whatnot.
I think if you give the government the ability to do anything, they screw it up. I think there's better ways. I don't want a full on open system where you can have any M16 craziness. I don't think we need that necessarily, but
yeah,
there's got to be a better way to do it than the way we're doing it now.
Yeah,
we've gone through the long gun registry. That was it failed. It failed. We scrapped it. Now we're banning guns that there's no reason to.
Yeah,
some people got shot for illegal guns.
Yeah, in
Canada, and now we're banning guns.
Banning guns from legal gun owners.
Yeah,
it's like
makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
It's the same, I know people hate tobacco, and I've probably said this before on the podcast, but no one listens to it anyway, so it don't matter. It's like they want us to quit smoking, so they keep raising the taxes.
Yeah.
And they're forcing people to do illegal things to get their tobacco. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The flow of illegal tobacco into the country is going up all the time, yet they keep raising taxes and making it more expensive to buy it legally.
Yeah.
There's got to be a happy medium.
Yeah.
There's got to be, but the government just doesn't ever see that.
No, they don't. And they said this. They did the same thing with weed. They legalized it, but then all the government red tape.
You want this?
That one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had Buffalo Trace over the weekend, actually.
Oh, well, I'm going to drink some of this.
Yeah.
You want that one because you saw David get sloshed on that.
Yeah,
on the
that's
last
right.
Couple podcasts ago.
That's right.
You see? Look, I haven't been drinking
clearly
much.
Good. Yeah, it's clearly good.
Sorry, what were you gonna say? I cut you off there.
Yeah. I can't remember, just the weed thing with the government.
The weed thing, yeah.
All the red tape, and they tax the hell out of it, and it's shitty weed. And
they're handling it exactly like they handle tobacco.
Yeah, and now you've got people that were buying it illegally, are still buying it illegally because they're getting a good deal on it, and they know the guy, they know the product, they know it's good quality stuff. So they're screwing that up, which kind of annoys me because I had some investments in some weed companies, and they're not doing too well because of all the red tape. They're just held back so much.
See, the thing with cigarettes and cigars and pipe tobacco is it's not a product that you can grow yourself. Yeah, you can grow tobacco, but you can't process it. You can't age it, ferment it, roll it into anything good. Yeah, you could probably make a cigarette out of it, but it's not good. We just don't have the ability as consumers to grow it. But I know for a fact that I can grow a big pot plant. Super easy. I could put it next to my tomatoes right in my yard, and it would have no problem at all. Yeah. And it's super easy to buy. Why would I pay those stupid overpriced too high prices from the government store and get crappy quality dried up weed.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
And the government's holding down regular people that want to start their own business that might be able to source better product and whatnot because the government wants to get a monopoly on it. Because if anyone watches this from the States, Canada's fucked, okay? The government competes against private citizens. So you've got government liquor stores competing against private liquor stores and
now government cannabis stores.
They're holding back handing out licenses to private people to open their own stores so that they can get like a bunch of stores open first, get a customer base going before anyone else opens.
Bring your mic just a little closer. You're good. Just a touch, yeah.
And it's unbelievable because they're in charge of the supply and now they're also in charge of demand because they decide who can sell and then they warehouse it, they track it all, and then they sell to the private stores. But then they also sell to themselves. So
I know. It's a weird system.
It's so bad.
Bizarre. It's so bad. Well, we know because we work in the liquor business and the way they treat their customers, because that's what we are, is terrible.
Yeah.
You couldn't do that in a normal business.
No.
It's just that's the only place you can buy it. So you have to go to them.
Yeah,
But if I treated my customers the way they treat theirs, I'd be gone in 6 months.
No, you'd close. Yeah.
I'd close. You have to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same in the pot business as it is in the liquor business where they favor their own stores.
Yeah, they take all the good deals. They take all the
deals,
good promotions.
all the good product, all the good promotions. They have exclusives.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they do that in cannabis, but if they don't, they will.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. They're going to use the same formula. That they use for
they'll
the
have
liquor.
sales on product, and then they'll buy up all the product, and then the other people won't be able to get the product that's on sale. And
then you get that funny thing that happens where, like, 6 days out of the week, you'll get people that bitch about the government and how they hate the government. And then one day a week they go and they shop at the government stores instead of supporting like a local guy that owns a private store. They'll like go to the government store because he's got a little bit better prices. And it's like 50 cents or $1. And then they'll sit there and they'll drink their beer that they paid 50 cents less for and be like, oh man, fuck the government. It's too big. It's taking too much taxes, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, then go shop at the private liquor store, spend a little bit more money, but
in some cases less.
Some cases less on some things because they don't bridge buy or anything like that. So yeah, in some cases they'll spend less, but on certain products you can't go less.
Yeah,
and you got to match the government or be a little more. It's just it's really funny to me.
Yeah. Well, I know I've got a customer and his wife will not shop at our store because we're not union.
Yeah,
and I mean I guess fair enough. But then she better not bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a problem with that too, about people that have something or they're given something and then they also complain. It just drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. It's like how do you
what do you mean by that? Like,
well, I might get in trouble for this one, but
whatever.
Yeah, I've got...
Be careful, it's going on the air.
Yeah, I know.
Just word it nicely and it should be fine.
I'll word it nicely, and we're on a podcast, so we've got the format for me to get all the ideas out,
right? Yeah, no, I'm not going to cut you off in 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I'll preface it with this. I'm not saying that Native Americans don't deserve what they have, because they were treated horribly, and I understand that. But my issue is when they have it and they complain about it. Right? So they don't pay tax on virtually anything. They get free education. They get, depending on what band they're in, when they turn 18, they get a lot of money. And I know that because I have a friend who's a quarter Native. So she's not even full Native American. Her mother was Native, father was white.
Canadian?
Yeah, Canadian Natives. Yeah. And
we are part of America. Just most people don't get that.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that people understand.
Yeah, I'm talking about in Canada.
Canadian First Nations.
Canadian First Nations. And she's a quarter First Nations. And she turned 18 and got like 20 grand.
So not all bands are the same.
Not all bands are like
not
that.
all bands are successful.
No. Some of them were given money and they open casinos and they cycle the money. And some of them are really bad. Some of the chiefs hold all the money and don't give any out.
Right.
Right? And so they're kind of hurting their own in that sense. They got greedy and stuff like that happens. But, free education, If they live on the reserve, they don't pay property tax. They get a lot of, people like to throw around white privilege, right? Well, to me, I don't see white people getting any of those things. We're not getting tax breaks. We're not getting, we have to pay property tax. They're allowed to fish and hunt.
We didn't have to go through the residential schools, though.
No, but that happened a long time ago.
Well, you know what, though? The last residential school, I think, closed in like 1980. Oh, shit. 7, 8, something like that. Fact check me on that. But it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know people that went to residential school.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Oh, it was the worst.
That's why I preface this with, I'm not saying they don't deserve it.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
So they deserve it.
They do deserve what they're getting. But I just don't like it when they sit there and complain that, the white man's holding me back, or, the white man's the reason I'm not successful. And it's like, you can work like the rest of us. You don't have to pay taxes. If you live on the reserve, you're not paying property tax. You're given free housing, essentially.
I hate the reserves, though.
They're horrible. You need to get off the reserves, but it's...
The way they have it set up is the part that I don't like.
Yeah.
The government kind of holds people back.
They do.
It's holding them back.
Well, it's like the welfare. It's like the welfare system. It encourages you to not try and succeed and get ahead, because you're like, I'm just going to get free money every month or whatever. Yeah. So I don't like the reserves either, but I'm saying they can use that to their advantage, where they're not paying that, going to work, making money, save money. A lot of the times, putting a down payment on the house and everything like that, sometimes depending on the band, you can get money for that. Like the friend I had got $20,000. It's like, that's basically a down payment on a house if you're smart with it. Yeah,
wouldn't you say, though, that now that the residential school, like, there's been more reconciliation and more healing, don't you think that they're starting to get past that sort of... Because it was like a cycle of abuse, and, like, your granddad was in residential schools, and to deal with the trauma and the stress, he turned to the bottle, and then he... Maybe
it's a vicious. It was
vicious
cycle.
And then he wasn't a good father to your mother, and then she didn't know how to be a good mother to you because of that perpetuating kind of, I don't know, trauma.
Yeah.
So, but do you think that now, like, it's not enough time? There'll probably never be enough time, but some time has passed so that sort of trauma is lessened, and they're starting, and the First Nations are starting to kind of get out of those sort of cycles. Like Dylan, that worked for me. I mean, I don't really know his situation completely. Never lived on the reserve, half First Nations.
Yeah.
Applied to UVic, got some kind of a grant from his band.
Yeah.
He's going to be an engineer, like a mechanical engineer when he's done.
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so you know what I mean? It's like, it's changing now. I think with that generation, like the 20-something First Nations, I think that's... I think it's changing. Like,
I really hope so.
Yeah.
But take Dylan for example. So going to UVic, getting a grant and all this other stuff that someone like myself wouldn't have gotten.
True.
Or qualified
he
for.
had the opportunity. He's
it.
using it to good.
Exactly.
To good use, right? Putting it to good use.
That's a good example. So if he was also complaining at the same time about his situation, about what white people did years ago, then I'd get annoyed with it. It's like, look, man, like, you have so many advantages. You just got to open your eyes, take the opportunities as they come. You've got a really good head start. Another example, too, is hiring. Like, my buddy's in the Coast Guard, and he's like, hey, man, like, you should come join. Like, it's awesome. We can, be on the same boat together and whatnot. I go and look at the postings, and it's like 90% of them is you can only apply if you're Native American. So it's like, it's literally what racism looked like in the past, reversed, where it's like, we're not going to hire black people, we're not going to hire natives, we're only going to hire white people. And that's kind of what's happening now, is we're only going to hire Native Americans, essentially. And
so I guess the thinking behind that is like, they've been held back for so many years. They need a little bit of an advantage for a while to get
they're trying to like retroactively.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help a young guy that's that happened to be born white trying to get a job.
Yeah,
doesn't help him at all. Fuck him.
And he's probably that white guy that was born now is probably worse off than the native that's born now, because he doesn't have to deal with the stuff that happened years ago. And that's kind of one of the things is like,
some people would argue that that's still perpetuating that residential school abuse will flow through the family lineage for many.
Yeah, but white people have abusive parents too, and it's just like it depends on, it depends on what you're born into. Some people, life is unfair. If people don't know that, it's time they learn it, because I wasn't, born Jeff Bezos's kid. I would have silver spoon in my mouth. I wouldn't have to worry about anything, right? Have the richest dad on the planet. So I'm disadvantaged compared to his kid or his future kid if he doesn't have any now. Elon Musk's kid, obviously better advantages. Like,
well, but you don't have that freaking name.
No, he had to change it.
Oh, did he?
He did, yeah.
Oh, because they wouldn't accept it?
They wouldn't accept
Thank
it,
the Lord. That poor child.
They made him change it.
Elon's your dad, but you're still getting bullied to shit because you've got some name that
no one can pronounce.
Yeah, so dumb.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
Yeah,
but
smart but weird.
Yeah. So, yeah, like overall, like it's a case-by-case basis individually. Like there's some white people that are born in trailer parks and their mom's a heroin addict or a meth head, and, they have a really bad upbringing. But sometimes the people with the bad upbringings are more creative, more artistic. Any famous person you look at kind of had a bad childhood, or they had something not kind of go their way. Not all of them, but there's a lot of them. But like across the board, if you're born native, you have more advantages than a white person. So you take a native person born bad family, he's probably gonna do just as bad as a white person born in a bad family, because there's bad families all over the place. But with the born native, you have advantages to get ahead that the white person doesn't have. And that's why I hate the complaining. If somebody complains like, oh, my dad beat me, it's like, yeah, well, my dad beat me, so it's like, but if you want to go to school and you want to better yourself, you have an easier road than someone that was born in a similar situation. They'd have to qualify, or they'd have to get an even better score, because sometimes with universities, especially in the States, I know, Asians, they do really well. But they'll actually dock points off of their SATs
for being Asian.
Yeah, so it's crazy.
So racist.
So it's so racist. And instead of getting the best student in their school, they're docking points and putting someone else in that doesn't deserve to be there. And then what ends up happening is you take someone that's not intellectual enough to be in that class or wherever they go with that university, prestigious university, they fall behind because they can't keep up with the other kids in the class because they're not meant to be there. They would do better if they went into a classroom with everyone at their level. So it's not a good system. It doesn't work well. But yeah, I understand bad things happen to Native Americans. Bad things happen to everybody, in the past. Yeah. Not to that extent, but not to that extent, and not that we're really taught about, because white people have been slaves too. The Muslims, the Ottoman Empire, they had white slaves. And so depending on where you came from, your lineage there, you were slaves. The French, they were white slaves. Lots
of Europe was enslaved by the Romans.
Yeah. It's been bad. It just hasn't been as recent, you could say. And then especially with our system now, it's more evident.
Well, I've got a friend that's Jewish, and half of his family was exterminated by the Nazis in the second. Yeah. And to his credit, they are all doing very well.
Yeah.
The family's doing great.
Yeah.
Like he's doing well. He had a good job. Retired now.
And they're not getting any privileges though, because they're white. They suffered great tragedies, and you know what? They're not complaining. They're actually doing really well. They're intelligent. They're wealthy, and it's like, so then you look at it, and the argument kind of falls apart when you say like, oh, like the residential schools, like that was horrible. They were treated badly. That psychological kind of transfers over. It's like, well, what about all the Jews? What about World War II and the extermination of their race? Where's their privileges? They don't get any because they're white. And yet they're still succeeding. And maybe that's because they're not given privileges and they have to work for it. Because like it's this weird thing with, like I said, welfare and stuff like that. It seems like it's helpful, but it kills motivation and it kills your drive and your ambition to better yourself because you don't have to. You can survive on the bare minimum.
Do you believe in, would you be open to the idea of universal basic income?
No. Because then you've got people that work harder and they get paid the same as somebody that doesn't work as hard.
No. Base income. So we're not talking about communism here. We're talking about a social program.
Yeah.
So that like, and I'm kind of opposed to it, but then a few things were brought to my attention. Maybe it would be okay. So let's just for an arbitrary number, let's just say everyone gets $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
We're kind of going through that right now. With this CERB thing, but like say everyone gets $2,000 a month, but it's not based on anything other than your age. So let's just say you turn 18 or turn 19, you start getting a basic income, provided by the government.
But where does the government get it?
Well, I don't know, but you get a basic income of $2,000.
Yeah,
everybody gets it, no matter how rich or how poor you are. You get the $2,000. So that's like a basic income. That's like a social safety net. Like that's like the bottom.
Yeah.
It's $2,000 a month. So an income of $24,000 a year, that's the bottom. And then everyone can earn above that.
Right.
If you chose to. Would you think that would be like a good idea?
Well, it depends on how it was implemented, right? Like, how is it going to get paid for? How are we going to give everybody $2,000 a month? And then everybody? So it's got
to come from somebody. Everybody.
Well,
how could you discriminate against? If it's a basic income for everyone, it's universal. It's got to be for everyone. The thing is the rich, they'll be in the high tax bracket anyway, so they're going to pay most of that back in income tax, right?
So basically tax the rich.
Well, no, it's not. Well, they're going to have to tax somebody to get the $2,000 in the first place.
Yeah.
And once you're past, $83,000, you're paying quite a hefty amount of tax. So that money's going to go to tax. At least half of it will go to tax, not the whole thing, because you never pay 100% tax on any money you earn.
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that was brought to my attention by one of my staff is like,
what convinced you on the idea?
It doesn't. I'm not convinced.
But like, what made you think about it?
Okay, like say you've got a single mom, or a mom in an abusive relationship that feels trapped. She's getting a check for $2,000 a month. She has the ability to leave because she's got the social safety net. So she knows $2,000 a month is hers, even though her abusive husband earns all the money and keeps her at home. She has the ability to leave the relationship.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing that kind of thought, maybe. Now, of course, I would say, okay, pay the $2,000, but then there should be no more welfare.
Well, naturally,
right?
Yeah.
There should be no more.
The $2,000 would essentially be the welfare.
Yeah, it shouldn't be any more. I mean, I would have to do research, but I would think there's no more like child tax
EI
care,
and stuff like
child
that.
tax care. Yeah, no more EI. No more. Well, I guess it depends on EI, right? Depending on how much you were earning. But that should be taken into consideration, I would imagine.
Well, if you're getting $2,000, that's more than you'd get from EI. So, and then that's how they can help pay for.
Even if you were making like $100K a year and got laid off, what would I don't know what your EI payment. I think it's maximum of $63,000, and then EI is a percentage of that.
If you're making $100K a year, you shouldn't even apply for EI. You should have savings, buddy.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know some guys that make more than that and don't have a pot to piss in. But I know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's bad,
that's
life
bad
choices.
business. Yeah, bad life choices. But like, so you could get rid of like, let's leave EI because we're not sure how that would work. But you could get rid of like welfare.
Yeah.
You could get rid of, and I think you should probably get rid of like those child tax benefits or, those payments you get to help raise your kids because you're getting that money.
And you need to help pay for this somehow. So getting rid of some of those.
You got to get rid of some of the programs that are already in place.
Yeah. So instead of that child tax and that person getting, I don't know, $800 or $1,300 a month for her kids, she's now just getting $2,000 flat and no extra
I don't know
benefits.
How that works. Like, what if you got 3 kids?
You get more if you have more kids. And that's actually a bad system because then sometimes it incentivizes women to have more kids to get more money. And then they don't really care about them. Sometimes they adopt kids and they get into a bad, a bad house.
I've heard problems with that with fostering kids.
Yeah, they adopt kids because they're like, oh, no one else wants them. I'll take them and I'll take the money, and then feeds them like rice or oatmeal or something like that for every meal.
That would be like you.
Yeah,
I think that most of humanity is good, and people through their hearts, and technology and their brain power, we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So I would say that would probably be a very rare case that you've got some lowlife wanting to foster more kids or adopt more kids or have more kids just to get that cash.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a pretty rare? I would think that's pretty rare.
Yeah, compared to the people that are actually doing it because they want to or
yeah,
can't have kids.
Yeah, exactly. I would say that.
Yeah.
We got to be talking a pretty small.
It's an exception to the rule.
Yeah. So like I would never want to make decisions on policy based on the exception to the rule.
No, of course not. You want to affect the majority of the people, help the majority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sold on it because I still don't know how we would pay for it.
Yeah, how do you pay for it? Am I going to get taxed more and have less money, but then I'll also get some of it back because I'm getting $2,000?
Yeah, and then you can just be more relaxed in your life because you know that just if something happened to the business that you're in or your own business or something didn't work out, you wouldn't starve to death. You know?
I'm also worried about things like that for killing ambition.
I don't think $2,000's enough to kill the ambitious people's ambition.
No, ambitious people are going to be ambitious, right? Like if wood is a commodity, you put them in the forest, they just chop trees all day. Like there are those people that no matter what, they're going to be ambitious. Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about the people that they're not really ambitious, but they want to get out of a bad situation. You know, if you start giving everybody $2,000 a month, they're like, well, I don't really have to work that hard. You know, I get $2,000 and, you know, maybe I could just work a minimum wage job and I could flip burgers and I couldn't, you know, they do something easy instead of challenging themselves or, you know, going and getting a degree in something because they're like, oh, I could make this work.
Yeah.
You know, I could live off of the $2,000 I'm getting plus a part-time job. And then that's all they do with their lives because they don't have to do anything else. So that's another concern I have with it is for those people, because you're going to have ambitious people no matter what. But there are those people that are like semi-ambitious, but they're more ambitious because they want to get out of their situation and they don't see how else to do that.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I wonder. I'm not sold on the idea. No. I would have to have someone really give me the pros about it. And I would like the pros and the cons to find out what is it? Like, is it actually workable?
Because you were talking about the woman in the abusive relationship. You can apply to a people's emotional side and their emotional response, like, oh yeah, we should do that. That could totally help her out, right? And it's like, but
I don't know how many women are in abusive relationships that can't get out. They have no family support and no friends that would help them get out of that situation. I would say that.
And that could also be a small minority.
I'd like to think it's a small minority. I mean, I could be totally off base. I'd like to think there's not that many situations like that.
Yeah.
Cynical lefties would say
they're everywhere.
It's like, it's like 35% minimum. You know, my wife probably wants to get out of here but can't because I make the money. It's like, fuck, come on.
Yeah. You know, they just make the statistics up.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'd like to think it's a very small number, but I could be totally wrong.
Yeah.
That's the thing I hate about, these stats. Someone's always fucking with them.
Yeah.
To benefit their own political.
Yeah, because they've got a bias.
Yeah.
So they control the, experiment for that.
Yeah.
And I mean, $2,000 would be nice if she could get out, but obviously you could say, well, the better thing to do would be, how about we help women not get in abusive relationships? What can we do so that they don't even get into the relationship in the first place?
Maybe that $2,000 would help them not get into that relationship. Maybe a woman that doesn't have a place for her and her child from another relationship, let's say. Yeah. And is just so thankful that some guy is showing her a little bit of attention and she gets into that relationship, even though her spidey sensors are saying this is not a good idea. Yeah. She does it anyway for the security.
But it's not secure. That's the
thing.
It's putting her kid in danger, which is not being a good mother. And then
But people do crazy things when they feel like they might.
Well, I know, and that's what I'm talking about.
Might be homeless.
Fixing that problem.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
giving
women's
them
shelters
support, more support.
Yeah.
If a woman wants to get out, there should be maybe we don't need the income. Like we're exploring the idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need better support for women.
Yeah.
That are in those spots so that they can get out if they choose to get out.
Yeah.
And we don't need a basic income because I don't need the basic income. I don't need
neither do I.
the $2,000. We both work and I think we do okay and that's it. But it would be nice if maybe, is that.
Yeah. Because like giving everybody $2,000 is like, okay, that's a nice idea. And you think about yourself and you're like, oh, an extra 2,000 would be nice. But you have to think about how many people there are. And you got to give 2,000 to every single person. So it's like, that's a lot of people. And it's like, it goes back to the whole point. How are we going to pay for that?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Well, the other point I heard that...
think about it. You take $1 from me off my paycheck. You have to do that to 2,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to take $1. You're going to take more than that. They're going to tax people another $50 maybe.
From somewhere.
Yeah, like you got to pay.
And people
everybody.
say, "Well, tax the corporations." You can't.
No,
you can't really,
because
they'll leave.
They'll leave.
They'll
exactly.
leave.
They'll
people
take
are against corporations
else.
right now. The few bad apple looters are looting like Apple or
Target, and they're like, "Oh, they're insured. They can."
Yeah, they're big corporations. We need those companies in our communities. They employ people. They employ
lots of
people like my daughter, part-time jobs, people that are going to school. They work a day a week. They employ mentally challenged kids at some of these places. Seniors. Like they're doing some stuff that's important in the community.
Yeah.
So you can't just say, they pay shitty. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
They pay shitty because we want cheap products at those stores.
Yeah.
If we want to pay more for products at Walmart, they'll pay their staff more.
Yeah.
Like we can have a $20 minimum wage right now, but then everyone in our town's got to be willing to pay a little bit more and not shop on fucking Amazon.
Yeah.
You got to still shop local.
Yeah.
So it's going to hurt a little bit. Are you willing to do it?
Are you willing?
Are you willing to pay a little more?
Yeah. You want $10, $10 for bread,
whatever the numbers are. You've got to be willing to do it and not go and try and undercut by going to Amazon or on the internet to get your stuff.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, we're okay.
Yeah. It's funny. You can these
corporations aren't all bad.
These people that hate corporations, you can put them into a rage by telling them the profit that the CEO of Walmart made or something like that. Oh, he profited $10 million or $10 billion or something like that, or $100 million, right?
Like his personal wage.
Yeah, his personal wage was like $100 million or something like that, right? And then they just go into a rage, and you're like, okay, but how many people does Walmart employ? Maybe 100 million. So he could raise their wage by $1 each. Or he could not even wage their wage because that would be 8 hours every day, right? He could give all his employees $1 and then he would make nothing and then everyone else would get $1 more. You got to think about that. They employ so many people. And okay, he makes 100 million. He fucking deserves to make 100 million so that you can go to the grocery store once a week and get all your groceries for cheap. They're providing you something, and it's just people are so selfish. They don't think about what they're getting. They just see him. They're like, he's got all the money, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, but not your life's a little bit easier. It's a little more convenient. They don't think about that. They bitch about Jeff Bezos. He's like, oh, Jeff Bezos only gave, 20 million or something to charity. However much it was. It was a few million. And they're like, oh, that's only 1% of his money.
I say fuck Jeff Bezos. So what do? I don't shop on Amazon. The only time I will ever buy on Amazon is if I cannot find the product somewhere else.
Yeah.
If you shop on Amazon, shut your cake hole.
Yeah.
Never, ever say anything about how much Jeff Bezos is making because you're the one making him that money.
Yeah.
So if you shop on Amazon, Jeff Bezos should be the first trillionaire in the world.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
Yeah. I don't shop on Amazon either. I only did it if I couldn't find the product locally. I've shopped on Amazon
when
once.
I bought these studio lights, right?
Yeah.
I went and called all the camera shops in town.
Yeah.
And one of them told me to buy them on Amazon. Can you fucking believe?
He's talking himself out of a job.
I was willing to pay more. I had it in my head. It's like, this is a business expense. I'm buying it for my business. It's a local business. I want to shop locally. I want to buy this stuff because then I want to pick their brains a bit on how to set up the lights. And
yeah, you can talk to someone. Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I had to buy the damn things on Amazon. Pissed me off. But
yeah,
I tried.
Yeah.
At least I tried.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm not a fan of Jeff Bezos either, but I see that we'll just say it was 20 million. I don't remember the exact number, but we'll say he donated 20 million. And people are bitching because it wasn't enough money. And it's like, he didn't have to give any of it, but his 20 million or whatever he gave helped a lot of people. So you're complaining that, he didn't give enough money because he has so much. And that's I have a problem with that too. You know, if I was in his shoes and I had that much money, I'd want to make a difference. I'd want to change things. I want to help people, right?
Yeah, we don't know what he does, though.
We don't know what he does.
He could be doing lots of stuff. I don't know anything.
He could have his own foundations. Of course, he has his own foundation set up.
Because that's how they steal money.
Steal money, yeah.
Of course, just like the Clintons.
Any rich person does that. Did you hear Hillary Clinton was on trial like 2 days ago?
It's going badly for her.
Yeah, she's got to like testify or something in September, and then another person from the Obama administration testified yesterday. And
I think that's what they're calling Obamagate, right?
Yeah, it's Obamagate. It was some stuff going on.
It's quiet on the hush because of all this other bullshit going on.
The coronavirus,
but
the
it's
riots
real.
And all
it's
that
real stuff.
And that circles back to the whole riots. Is like you've got George Soros and all those people that pay protesters. You've got bricks getting dropped off on corners over there. It's like they're fueling this. And then Antifa works for George Soros.
They probably saw the death of that poor guy as just a great opportunity.
Great opportunity. Yeah.
They don't give a fuck.
No, they don't.
They don't care.
No, and they know they're trying to cause this racial divide in America. They want a race war. It's good for business because it's
a good way to get Trump out of office.
Yeah,
sure.
Or blame Trump for the whole thing, you know?
He's handled it incredibly poorly.
He has.
But both Corona and these riots were not his fault.
No.
He handled them poorly, but he was not the cause.
No.
People can say because of his bullshit tweets. No. I don't believe that. I am not a fan of Trump.
No.
For the record, I do not support Trump. I probably wouldn't have voted for him in the well, I probably would have. I could not have voted for that lizard lady. I just couldn't do it.
He's the only president that stands up to globalists though. And it's like I liked him when he ran originally because he didn't need anybody's money. Whereas a lot of presidents and a lot of people that run...
they're bought.
They're bought
Trudeau's
and paid for.
Trudeau's bought and paid for. I don't like globalism either.
No.
I don't want a one world government. I think that the world... Countries are just too different. People are too different.
Yeah.
They need their own thought. They have their own thoughts and ideas. You can't have one person...
One government ruling over
African
everybody.
countries and Muslim countries and then the West and everyone with one set of rules for all of us. I don't know. I think we should all be able to govern ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there's never been a thing in the world because you've had powers governing other nations, and that's how you have revolutions and civil wars and shit all the time. I don't know. I'm talking about my ass because I don't know anything about that, but I don't like it.
Yeah, no, and that's why I like Trump originally is because he didn't need anybody's money. So it's like he can't get bought. Like, yeah, you could say he wants to make a little bit more money or something, but at the end of the day, and he loves America. No one can say Trump does not like America. So if the deal or whatever that's getting made behind closed doors isn't good for America, I don't think he would do it. And so I kind of like that about him is that he couldn't get bought because he already had so much money. Mm-hmm. But the other thing I found funny too about Trump is like when he was doing The Apprentice and stuff like that.
I hated him.
Yeah, but
he's such a prick. You're fired. But half the time, I think it was just for ratings.
Of course,
it was all ratings.
He knew the camera's on.
It was all ratings. He wasn't even firing the right person half the time. I was like, "Geez, you're such a watch what they're doing."
But
pay attention.
Back then, you didn't have this uproar of people like he's a racist, get him off the air, blah blah blah. True. And that's what I found funny is like. Then he runs for president, and now all of a sudden, he's a sexist pig, he's a racist. If you thought that the entire time that Trump's been in public life, in the public eye, you would have spoken up earlier. You would have caught, because if you thought he was a racist, you wouldn't want him to have anything, But there wasn't. There was like, The Apprentice. They probably even watched it because it was entertaining. You're fired, blah, 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 that whole thing. But there wasn't this uproar to deplatform him, or
because he wasn't a Republican.
He wasn't anything.
Well, wasn't he a Democrat before he ran for the presidency?
I don't know what
Hillary and
I don't think he would have been a Democrat because they would want to tax him more.
True, but Hillary and Billy Bob there weren't they like at his wedding, or he was at some wedding or something?
Well, the Clintons, they're trying to get their hands in all the rich people's pockets. So Trump had money, so of course they're trying to associate.
Just like Epstein.
Oh
my God.
Yeah.
Bill sure liked that boy, didn't he?
Oh, he liked the little girls on his island. But,
yeah. Just to go back.
Yeah.
To the basic income thing.
Yeah.
So the one point that was made to me was like, and then people on welfare need the money isn't, blah, 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 would help them. Well, right away I thought, well, if that's the case, then we just need to reform welfare. Well, I mean, if you need social assistance because, you're not capable of working, you've got PTSD, you came from an abusive relationship or abusive household or whatever.
You're paralyzed.
Yeah. There's reasons to be on social assistance. The word welfare kind of has a stigma to it, but you know what I mean. Social assistance.
Yeah.
If the money they're giving you on that isn't enough, then we just need to fix that too.
Yeah.
So maybe we don't need a basic income.
Yeah, we don't need to give everybody $2,000, but how about you give the people on social assistance a little more money?
That need it.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. Get a better system in place where you have to actually do things to get the money. Drug testing or whatever. So, help.
Yeah. So I started watching that Epstein documentary. It's on Netflix, eh?
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
I only watched about the first half of the first episode.
Yeah.
Already, the guy's a fucking creep.
Of course.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He must have... I hope he has a dossier somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be great with names?
If it ever came to light.
Yeah, it would be great. So all these assholes could just hang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
there was that undercover thing where it was like the hidden camera on the, it was some news organization, and you can hear the audio where it's like, oh, I have Epstein, I have this case, I have these witnesses, I have all this testimony, and then the owner of the news station is like, nope, kill the story. And it's like, they had it right there. They just want to do the interviews and they wouldn't air it. They wouldn't do anything. Just killed the story. It's like, dude, how powerful was that guy?
Multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
Weird though. No one knew where he got his money either.
Yeah.
He was like
blackmail. It had to have been blackmail. That's how he figured how to get to the top, is like blackmailing rich people. Get
a few young girls.
Yeah. Get some guys take some photos.
Drunk. Yeah. Take a few pictures of some multi-billionaire with with these young girls, and then extort some money.
Yeah. And then you get invited, and then you meet more rich people.
And then you say it was like management fees for investing or some bullshit cover-up way for you to get that money from them. I wonder.
Yeah.
Filthy pig. Disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how he got suicided. That was interesting.
Oh, did he, though? Did he get
suicided? He got suicided.
Yeah.
He didn't actually commit suicide, did he?
No, he didn't. He was either murdered or broken out and just like sent back to his island or something.
Oh.
Yeah. Like no one knows, right? Everything could have been fabricated. The cameras weren't working. The guards were like watching porn or something or sleeping. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And an autopsy report's released. No one that I know of or any person.
The same guy that did JFK's.
Yeah.
Was it JFK, Martin Luther King, Epstein, and one other? Oh, and one other. So this guy is doing all the autopsies of the most like mysterious
conspiracy theory deaths. Yeah. Yeah. So who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like multi-billionaire, he could have paid for his release, and just that's the end of it.
Well, that's what some trolls are doing online right now. They're saying that why did Floyd? Why was it a closed casket, not an open casket?
Oh.
Because it's bullshit. But
no, I found out something interesting is that the cop that killed him knew him.
Yes.
Because they worked at the same club every week for like a year.
Yeah.
And so people are starting to think like there was like a vendetta there, or something happened at that club.
Right.
Where Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Something happened where they were both working, so they knew each other.
So people are saying that Floyd had like a long criminal record.
He did. Yeah. He actually, the story
he was in jail like once or twice.
5 years for violent robbery. He went in with a couple guys to this woman's house, put a gun to her stomach. I don't think he shot her, but, use of a weapon. And then they rushed the house and robbed her. So he did 5 years for that. So he wasn't an angel.
No.
I'm not saying he deserved to die.
No,
but he wasn't.
No, he wasn't an upstanding
citizen.
Wasn't. But the question I had, so people were, like, I'm reading a lot of, online stuff, and someone was saying he got killed over $20 because he was trying to use a fake $20 bill.
Yeah.
Now, my question would be, was he known to police well enough that at that time they knew that he had
done something worse? Yeah, and they're tired of it. They're tired of him.
Yeah, and I'm not justifying it either.
No, of course
Don't get me wrong, I am not. But if the police didn't really know his priors,
yeah,
then you know what I mean. Then it seems even worse.
Yeah,
for killing a guy over a fake $20 bill. The guy, he might not even fucking known it was a counterfeit bill. I've had counterfeit bills in my till and didn't know they were counterfeit.
Yeah, right. Until you've gone to give it to someone else.
Give them to the bank, and then they're like, "Hey, let's check this. It's not real."
Yeah.
So can you
Yeah.
The guy might not have even known.
Right.
I've had a counterfeit $20 US bill.
Yeah.
That I didn't know was fake.
Right.
Fuck.
Yeah, US, it's not even our currency.
Yeah, so he could have gotten killed over a bill that he didn't even know.
Yeah.
Well, he probably didn't know. He's not making the stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no way he's got the ability to be counterfeiting cash.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck, right?
Yeah. But then, you go back to him and the officer knowing each other, and then there's there's that.
It's probably over a woman.
Maybe.
It's always over a woman.
Always over a woman. Yeah. Could have been.
It could have been, right?
I also found out that he was a porn actor.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. If anyone wants to look it up.
Oh, God.
Type in Floyd Habib. Habib, I think. And
the Luigi Ess podcast does not condone you looking that up. Just so everyone knows.
Just if you're curious,
Oh my God. Leave the poor man alone. Let him rest in peace.
I didn't watch it, but
Didn't everyone make a porno once or twice in their life?
At least a personal one,
Well,
but
God.
this one was professional.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So what else, bud? What else is on your mind? Should we talk about that? What's that? You say her name so well.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
That's the one. That's the one. I don't know anything about her. I don't really want to talk about her.
That airhead that was
she
a
is
bartender but promoted to parliament.
Yeah. Well, not parliament. It's in the U.S.
Yeah. Okay.
They have whatever they have over
Senate.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Senate?
She's a senator.
Is she a senator? I don't know what the hell she is.
I don't know that much about her.
We don't follow it that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know as much about her as she claims to know about everything else.
Oh,
which is
so nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So people are pissy pooed over Trudeau taking a knee.
Taking a knee?
Yeah. Black Lives
kneeled?
Matter. Yeah, you know how they're taking a knee in the U.S. They're going down on one knee to show solidarity with the Black Lives Matter. And now, so Trudeau did it, and now everyone's saying, he's a racist because he did this blackface thing.
Multiple times.
Right, and then, was it multiple times?
Multiple times.
It wasn't just one costume party?
No.
Oh, that was his thing?
Yeah, he did it for Halloween.
So I'm going to say for the record, I'm not a Trudeau fan. I did not vote for Trudeau.
No.
But I don't think he's a racist. That's ridiculous.
I think he's an idiot.
Well, that's besides the point. I don't think he's an idiot for dressing up as an Arab and painting his face.
I think he did Aladdin. I think he dressed, so...
Someone from the Middle East.
Yeah, he dressed up as an Arab, but I think it was Aladdin.
Aladdin, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't think he's an idiot for doing that.
Yeah,
because we've all had bad Halloween costumes in the past.
Yeah.
We're talking this 20 years ago or more.
He also did blackface for I think a high school talent show or something. I can't remember who he dressed up as, but he dressed up as a black musician and went full out. with the blackface. And then Jimmy Kimmel did blackface. I think Jimmy Fallon did blackface. Robert Downey Jr. did blackface in Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome. And it wasn't racist because it was like he was method acting, right? And so like everyone knew that it wasn't an issue. But now you got these SJWs in today's day and age bitching about that movie from that long ago because I guess someone made them aware of it. And it's just, it's never okay.
Yeah.
And it's like intention
even
matters.
Even Pet Detective, Ace Ventura is not woke enough anymore. They would not make that movie today.
No. But to me, with the whole racist stuff, it's like intention matters. Like the intent is 100% of it. It's like they had this meeting at like Netflix, right, about like unacceptable words and, you know, things that people wouldn't be allowed to say and, you know, cracking down more on comedians and what they were going to allow on their platform.
On Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix had this meeting. And
before or after the funniest black man on earth?
I can't remember.
What's his name?
The funniest black man?
Yeah, the guy.
Dave Chappelle?
Chappelle, yeah. Damn it, I can't believe I can't remember his name. Chappelle, yeah.
It might have been before that.
Before? Okay.
I think it was before that.
Well, obviously they did.
But a guy got fired for talking about some of the words because he said the N-word, I think. But he's obviously not saying it in a racist intent. He's talking about like words that can't be said. But some people have this belief that it's never okay to say the word.
Right.
And I think those people are some of the weakest people on the planet. That a word is.
Yeah, why couldn't you just tell them, hey man, don't say that. Just say the N-word.
Just say the N-word. Yeah, or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, or like if you have a context and you're saying this is what the person said. A lot of people just say, yeah, he said the N-word. You know, some people don't have that. They just say like they're just repeat verbatim what the person said. But again, in that instance, there's no racism there. He's just repeating what somebody else said, and that's where it comes with intention. Is people are too soft with it. And I understand the like society and how the word makes people feel, so I don't say the N-word either. But I understand that there's some people that say it, maybe they just don't know any better. And that's goes back to the silencing people when they do something dumb and it's like if you silence them and be like, hey, go away, you're Hitler, you're a racist, they don't learn anything, right? But if you're like, hey man, like this is why you can't say that, it's really impactful to black people and what they went through. Like it has, you know, bad
connotations.
Yeah. And then they might say, oh, well, then if it has bad connotations, then black people shouldn't say it so much themselves and rhyme every other word with it in a song. And it's like, true, but, you know, they could be, you know, ignorant.
They're owning it.
Yeah, they're owning it. You know, they're turning the word and making it not bad.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with words is like it has whatever meaning you give to it, right? I could start swearing in Japanese and people aren't going to be offended by it because they have no idea what I'm saying because they're just words. You know, my mom is
by the way, Dow speaks Japanese. That's why I use that.
Yes, that's why I pick Japanese over other languages. But my mom is a devout Christian and just no swearing at her house. So if I need to swear, I just do it in Japanese and she has no problem with it because she has no idea.
Yeah.
But it has the same meaning in their culture, right? So it's just words, you know? They're not going to hurt you.
No, I guess. They can be hurtful, though. Depends, I guess. You shouldn't.
It depends on the person.
Yeah.
Because, like, I look at it this way. You have two girls, let's say, and they're in high school. You call each one of them a slut. One of them's going to cry and be like, I'm not a slut. You call the other one a slut. It's like, damn right. Like, and it's like, it's how they take it.
Yeah.
Either it's still the same word. And that's why intent matters, because if you're saying it to them to be hurtful, that's not good. If you're saying it in a positive way, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there's no way you could say the N-word in a positive way, really.
No.
But it's not always racist when somebody says it, just because it could come with racist baggage attached to it.
Yeah. It's complicated.
It's complicated. Nothing in life is black and white. There's so many gray areas, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the nuance of the English language, for sure. I think it's dumb if you're quoting someone.
To say it.
Yeah, if you're quoting someone that said it,
and
you say it to get reprimanded for it. It's in bad taste. You shouldn't have done it, but you're
Yeah,
obviously not a racist because
you're not a
that.
racist. There's no good reason to really say it.
No.
But there's also the other thing about singing along with music.
Yeah, are you allowed to? I don't. But.
Like if you're alone in your car and you're listening to songs and it's part of the lyric, it's like, what do? Do you just like, hey, me and all my going to the club, like, and you just like stop singing? And there's no racism there. You're literally singing along with what someone else is saying. You're not calling anybody that word. You're not doing anything that bad. You're in your car alone, so no one else is going to hear the word. Mm-hmm. So you can't hurt anybody. And it doesn't make you a racist. You're embracing their culture or something that they made. I don't know.
Either do I.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah, I mean, it's very few people will see this podcast, but it'd be great for a conversation.
Yeah, to be had on that.
Yeah. Because but you always get those.
Yeah. Is it okay to sing along with it?
Yeah.
In the privacy.
That's a question I don't know. I don't know the answer to.
Yeah. Or do you got to get like an N-word pass from like a black friend?
Yeah.
You know about those?
No.
They were big on Reddit. Apparently, if you have a black friend, you can get the N-word pass, but it's only applicable to him. So, like, he could give it to you, and then you can say the N-word around him.
Oh, I see.
But you can't be like, hey, my buddy Jerome gave me an N-word pass, and go up to a random group of black guys and start saying it. Oh. You can't do it. You got it. Like, it's individual N-word passes. Yeah.
Rapport with
you got to have rapport, and they have to give it to you. It's like a hall pass card.
Oh, that's good one.
Yeah.
Hall passes don't exist.
No.
It's a fallacy.
Yeah.
You'll never get one.
No.
I've asked. I'm not getting one.
Nope.
Want a little more whiskey? How was that?
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah, that's the that McClellan's.
Oh. Which one? The Highland?
This is the Islay.
Islay, okay.
Well, I'm drinking Buffalo Trace, but
I know the Islay.
Yeah.
I didn't find it as peaty as Islay's are supposed to be.
No, it's not. It's a lighter peat.
Okay.
Not all of them are peat bombs, you know.
Yeah.
They're not all like super heavy peat.
Yeah, well, it's the same with beer and IPAs. They're not all over the top hop.
That's right.
But you're how you think about them. You hear the word IPA, you're like, oh, that's going to be hoppy. You hear Islay, you're like, oh, it's peaty.
Yeah.
That's what you think. Yeah.
I think they all have a certain amount of smoke in the mash.
Yeah.
But a little bit. I mean, I like a lot. But
yeah. To each his own.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. One of the things that really bugs me about what's going on with the protests and everything, and I've already said it, like once you riot and loot, you lose moral high ground. Black Lives Matter. They're not doing it, I don't think, but they're getting associated with it, which isn't good. It's not good for the message. They're taking a lot of the donations that they're getting and they're helping a lot of people, which is good. I would like to see them acknowledge the black on black violence, the fatherlessness in the homes. That's at like 70% in climbing, which is the number one factor to whether or not your kid turns out good in life, is having a 2-parent home. And that's what the welfare state is. It's encouraged single black mothers, because if they don't have a man in the house, they get more money. And so it's like, if they have kids, they get more money. So it's incentivized the single motherhood of the black family, and it's crippled them, because they found that if it's a 2-parent home, black or white, they're both, if not more likely to succeed and do better in school and in life. Because again, you've got racist policies like affirmative action and things like that for schools and jobs. So if they come from the same background, 2-parent homes, good family life, good upbringing, good neighborhood, the black child is more likely to succeed because of those policies, right? But everyone likes to blame racism for the single motherhood, poor, living in the ghettos, for her son not succeeding. Apparently it's racism in the ether for why her son can't get ahead in life when he's going to a bad school, bad neighborhood, bad kids all around, gets involved in crime, which again is another aspect of not having a two-parent home. Because you've got one person trying to do both jobs and trying to make enough money to support everybody. They're not there. You have one parent that's absent because they're working like 3 jobs just to get by. So it's not good. But what I don't like about what's going on with the protests and everything like that is with the Black Lives Matter, it's obviously not good to go out and say, oh, all lives matter. That's not helpful. But what I don't like about the phrase Black Lives Matter, and it's the media's fault, is it comes with the connotation that, oh, black lives are in danger. The police are exterminating black people. And it's just not true. If you look at the statistics from like 2015 to 2020, cops kill more white people than black people.
Yeah, but there's more white people in the U.S.
Yeah, but that brings you to the other statistic that the black people commit more crimes. So in the States, the black population is 13%, but it's not black women out there committing violent crimes that the police have to respond to. So it's more like half that. Instead of 13%, it's like 6 or 7%. And then you look at that number, and black men are committing 60, 70% of all homicides. So yeah, they're a smaller percentage of the overall population, but they're committing an astronomically larger percent of violent crime. So that's even worse, because they're a smaller percentage, but they're committing more of the crime.
Yeah, I heard some lefties say it's because their communities are over-policed, so they're catching them
They're
more.
under-policed because the cops don't want to go there.
That's what I heard from my mom's cousin that lives there. I think he's in Chicago. He said the cops won't even go into the rough neighborhoods.
No.
They won't go there at all.
No.
Period. So
they're going to get shot at.
There's no cops aren't killing anyone there because they ain't going there.
No, but other blacks are killing each other there. Drive-by shootings.
Sure.
Innocent black people are dying from drive-by shootings and gang violence and all those other things from those neighborhoods. And that's what I want to hear Black Lives Matter talk about, is because that and the fatherless is the number one thing that's impacting and affecting and holding back the black community. It's not racism, and systemic racism doesn't exist. Like, it can't. Systemic racism implies that there's laws and the government is saying it's okay to discriminate against black people. Like laws
people
like...
misuse the word.
They do. Like Jim Crow. You have to use separate entrances, separate drinking fountains. You can't swim in the same pool as white people. That is systemic racism, because the government is saying it's okay to be racist. Nothing like that exists anymore. There's laws against those things saying you cannot do those. So systemic racism isn't real. So maybe it is ignorant people misusing the word. Racism does exist. There are individuals that are racist, and racism is taught. You're not born with it. But what bugs me is that if you actually look at the numbers, more white people are killed by police. And we don't see it. And that's where the problem comes in. I don't want to see more violent things and more negative things, but you get this perception that cops are exterminating blacks because that's all you see in the media. Anytime a police officer kills a black person, it's everywhere. Front page on all the news sources, even though the day before maybe a cop unjustly killed a white person. But MSNBC, CNN, all those, like, CNN's Canadian, but like MSNBC, Washington Post, New York Times, they don't rush down there to report on it. Like a white guy named Tony Timpa died pretty much the exact same way as George Floyd, like 3 months ago. Barely reported on at all. Same thing, guy was handcuffed. He called the police himself because he was having a schizophrenic episode and he needed help. He called the police that ended up killing him. Same thing, restrained on the ground. Officer's got his knee on his back, hand on the back of his neck. And the guy was on cocaine, and he was freaking out because he's also schizophrenic, and he ended up going into cardiac arrest because he was terrified. And you actually have video of this, and the cops are laughing They're not. I don't know if they're laughing at him. You can't really hear what's happening, but they're laughing amongst each other as this guy is dying underneath them. You barely heard anything about it. The cops were released of all charges. The family of the guy wants to press civil charges, but you barely heard about it. There's no riot. There's no protest. There's no up in arms about it. There's a lot of stories you could point to about cops killing white people. There was another guy named Shaver. I think that was his last name. Can't remember his first name. He was in pest control, and he was in a hotel room, and he was showing somebody a BB gun for killing rats or birds or something like that. Somebody saw it from the street outside, called the cops, said this guy had a gun. They get him. They arrest him. They put him down. He's on his stomach, and got it on video, body cam footage. A cop was like, don't move, stop moving, blah, blah, blah. White guy goes to pull his pants up. He's on his stomach. He's no threat. Goes to pull his pants up, and the cop shoots him like 7 or 8 times. And he had, on the cop's gun, he had engraved, "You're fucked." Bad police officer. Should not be on the force whatsoever. There should have been, he should have been fired a long time ago. Yeah. But it's like, that's another white guy. Killed super unjustly, on his stomach, no threat, not resisting arrest, nothing. And there's no riots, there's no protests, there's no looting, there's no white people like up in arms, because we don't feel like we're being exterminated, because we're not seeing it. It's not getting reported. Every news story you hear, it's about a white person killing a black person. That's what you see. So you think that's what's happening 100% of the time, right? If that's all you see, and you look at the news and you look at the media, your Facebook wall, what's getting posted.
Well, the media sucks.
It's horrible, but you have so many people that watch it and follow it, and all they see, white cop kill black guy. It's because that's all they report.
Good click.
It's good click. But they don't report the white cop killing the white guy or the black cop killing the white guy. They never report it, so you never hear about it. So you think there's this mass extermination on black people because all you see is white cop kill black guy. Every couple months, there's something. And it's because they want to create this racist divide. They want to divide us into white and black. And one thing I find funny about these, lefties and all those people, that they see racism everywhere. And you have to think, like, you see the world as you are. So part of me thinks that these people have really racist thoughts, so they just think everybody else is racist. It's kind of like Hollywood, where they project their, their horrible culture on women of like, you have to sleep with me to get a role in this movie. And they think the rest of the country or the rest of the world is like that. It's like they're projecting. They see the world from their perspective. It's like, oh, that's all we know. That's all we do. The rest of you need to do better.
Hollywood's fucked.
Hollywood's fucked, yeah.
It's fucked.
But I think a lot of these lefties have like racist thoughts, and like they hate stereotypes. They don't find it funny because I think they actually believe them. You're like, oh, black people love chicken. It's like, everybody loves chicken. Everybody loves fried chicken. But I think these lefties
chicken and waffles. Have you had that shit,
dude? Maple syrup,
delicious, right?
So good.
Yeah.
But I think these lefties actually think it's true that I think they think all black people like chicken, or like all black people like watermelon and Kool-Aid, grape Kool-Aid. I think they actually think that, whereas like people like myself know that everyone's an individual. You can't just blanket statement a race or anybody like that. Stereotypes are funny because they come from places that are mostly true. You have a majority of somebody that does something a certain way, and it becomes a stereotype. White people are bad dancers. White people can't jump. White people can't jump. That's not racist, but black man can't swim? Uh-oh. Oh, you just said something racist.
They can't.
I know, but it's racist to say it.
Is it?
Apparently.
Oh.
But.
All right.
And that's what I'm talking about. It's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, certain people are just better at certain things than others. I mean, it's just the way it is.
It's the way
Not
it
everyone
is.
can do everything.
No, of course not.
And certain races probably have a disposition to do things better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, obviously blacks can run better.
Yeah.
It's obvious, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, They just can.
Yeah.
I'm never going to run as fast as
Usain
Bolt. There's no, doesn't matter.
No.
Never could.
Never will. No matter how hard you train.
No matter how hard I train.
You'll never do it.
I would never do it.
No.
I could get good.
Yeah.
I could get real good, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But never be as good.
Yeah.
And that's just something
Yeah.
about him. And the girl, the Jamaican, she's the fastest woman.
Yeah.
And the Ethiopians are all the fastest long distance runners.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think a white guy's winning the Boston Marathon.
No.
You know, it's just, we're just different.
It's just the way it is.
We're just different.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's funny, like, I'm not going to have the assumption all black people can play basketball. But I think these lefties would. And that's what I think is funny, is they call everybody else racist, and they see racism everywhere, right? And I think it's because they actually have these thoughts and they believe those things. Whereas I'm not going to have those thoughts, and I don't go around looking at racism everywhere. Until I see that it is racism, I'm not going to assume it is. Like with the cop that killed George Floyd, unless it comes out that there's emails or transcripts that he was like a Klans member and he's like, I hate black people, I'm not going to assume he killed him because he was racist. I'm going to assume is a human being killing another human being. He's just a piece of shit. He would have done it to a white guy too. He probably did, and we just didn't hear about it.
He may have, yeah.
Yeah.
We just don't know.
We just don't know. So until it comes out, I'm not going to assume racism. And what is it? I think it's Arkham's razor, where it's don't attribute malice when it could be passed off as stupidity.
Oh, right.
Right? Where you just assume somebody did something because they hate you, or you assume they did it for bad reasons, when it could just be ignorance or stupidity, or there's another easier explainable reason for why they did what they did. You know? But these people, they just jump at racism all the time. It's a bad way to look at things. And it's something Ben Shapiro said, and it makes a lot of sense. He's like, if you go around and you've got young black kids and you've got the media, their parents, everyone else saying racism is out there, it's going to stop you, it's going to hold you back. How is he ever going to get ahead if that's what he thinks? That's his outlook on the world. He's like, oh, how am I ever going to succeed? Racism's going to stop me.
Crush his dreams before he even starts trying to implement any way to get them.
Yeah. Like, why should I go to school? Racism's going to stop me anyway. Why should I apply for that job? I won't get it because the guy's going to be racist. It's not
Ben's
helpful.
Jewish, by the way, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah, but a lot of people refer to him as Hitler, which is
pretty fucking hilarious because I'm sure half his family was exterminated.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro he's way too right-wing for me, personally, but he's not a racist.
No, he's not a racist.
I've never heard him say anything that was racist.
Yeah.
Personally. He talks about stats. He talks about figures and numbers. You might not like his stance on, abortion or whatever.
Oh, I love his stance on abortion. Love it.
Yeah, not everyone may love it, but he's not a racist, though.
No. What I find about Ben Shapiro, though, is I don't understand how somebody so logical and intellectual can be religious. That's just me, though. Mm-hmm. That's me personally. But, he might see something I don't see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Religion gives people something.
It does. It's a blanket in a snowstorm.
Yeah. It's faith. It's someone to lean on when there's no one on the earth or the planet to lean on.
Yeah.
It gives some people balance. It puts things into some people into perspective.
Yeah.
I'm not that religious. I'm more religious than you are because I believe in God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it gives some people perspective.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does do some good. It helps people. It's done a lot of bad things in our history, but it has done some good. And if people use it the right way, it is helpful. I will say that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look at the one passage that's a little bit, I don't know, can be misconstrued, then the radicals always use that to start killing their neighbor.
Yeah.
Even though it says love thy neighbor in the Bible,
Yeah.
That's what one of my religious friends said. I don't know the quote, but basically it was about Black Lives Matter, and it was like, how can you if you're religious, which is so ironic that a lot of, I don't know, I mean, I'm Christian, but a lot of the right-wing Christians give Christians a bad name.
Yeah.
Because they go around hating
people and everything. Yeah.
And that is so un-Christian. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's very hypocritical. So her quote was something, God says, love thy neighbor, and we're all made in God's image. So black, white, yellow, red, whatever.
Yeah.
Green, we're all one person, one people under God.
Yeah.
And we should love each other, and that's it.
Yeah.
That is it. And I agree with that. That's a good statement. That's a good thing
you can take from
it, right? We're all equal under God.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in God, then we can all be equal under the sun, Mother Nature, whatever.
We're all equal because we belong to the same species.
Yeah.
Yeah. And back to the George Floyd thing and the media's insistence on including race. White police officer kills black man. It's like, what if it just said, cop killed somebody by putting their knee on the back of their neck? Your first thought wouldn't be racism, right? It would just be like, that guy's a piece of shit, which is what we think. But because they included race in it, your first, not ours, but other people's first thought is racism because they're including race. But if they just said, human being kills human being, well, that guy's a piece of shit. If you're waiting or looking to see or hear about the race of the people involved, you might be a little racist. If you're waiting to hear for the race of the people involved in the act instead of just looking at the act itself. I saw this little thing on, I don't know, Instagram or Facebook or something where it was like a picture of these little kids, black and white. Yeah.
Black boy, white boy. I don't know. It was like a black girl and a white boy and 4 little pictures. And they had a little kid saying, "What do you see?" "I see a boy and a girl."
Yeah.
"I see a boy and a girl hugging." "I see 2 boys talking or playing." Right?
Yeah.
So they don't see race.
No.
So, but every time they report something, they always say black and white or white and black or black and Chinese or Asian or this or that. Always race is the first thing. It's because the media are a bunch of pieces of shit.
Yeah.
And that's why I love places like that you can openly talk like we are right now. It's because the media needs to have clicks to sell, to make money.
Yeah.
If you don't click on their article, if they just said, bad cop kills innocent man, they'd probably get a 10% of the clicks. But when they say white cop kills black man, now everyone's clicking on that shit.
Yeah.
And
look what it did. It caused massive riots and looting.
And I'm not saying, for anyone, I'm not saying that cop isn't racist. I'm not saying he isn't.
I'm not saying he is either.
And you're not saying he is. Yeah. We just don't know.
No. Yeah. Information
might come out. But the way the media always spins it is racism. To make it racism so that it's clickbait.
Yes.
Clickbait. If you don't know what clickbait is, you haven't been paying attention.
No.
Because every article that you click on is all clickbaity bullshit.
Yeah. And these guys are
the headlines
sick.
Are lies.
Yeah.
An online, like a media company will print something, a headline, it's completely false. It's a lie, an outright lie just to get the click. They get paid for clicks. People don't realize they get paid for clicks. And then they'll be like, "Oh, shit, we made a mistake. Sorry. We'll print a retraction."
But they don't.
And they get paid for those clicks too. And they don't give back the money.
No, but when they do a retraction, they bury it. So they'll do a retraction, but they won't tell anyone they did a retraction. So anyone that read the original, they go around and spew that and they quote that and they.
Oh, Facebook's the worst for perpetuating bullshit lies. I'm always fact checking.
Yeah. You have to
stuff on, and I'm like, aluminum foil causes Alzheimer's and this and that and the other. I'm like, I think I've heard this before. I think it's bullshit. So I read it. And then I read the article and it's like people that have died of dementia and Alzheimer's seem to have higher levels of aluminum in the brain. Okay. But we don't know if it's just...
If cooking with aluminum is going to give it to us.
Is the reason it happened. Or if it just happens to be is there a correlation? I don't know all the.
Well, that's
terms,
the thing, right? Causation doesn't cause.
It
doesn't equal correlation.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that. It's like this. God bless my cousin that's always posting this shit. God bless her. 18 babies die after vaccinations. That was the headline. Yeah, 18 babies did die after vaccinations, but it doesn't say they died from the vaccination. Once I read the article, it has nothing to do with those kids dying from being vaccinated.
Yeah, just a clickbait title.
It's if you vaccinate 1 million or 2 or 10 million people, probably 18 of them are going to die after vaccination. One will die in the parking lot getting hit by a car accident, the flu, I don't know, cancer, like a million things. Yeah, they all died after getting vaccinated. Had nothing to do with the vaccination.
No.
So their statement wasn't a lie. It was just
misleading.
Dirty and misleading.
Yeah.
I hate the media for that. There's no truth in journalism anymore.
And I just wish more people would realize that, and you wouldn't have this herd of sheep just following everything they say.
People actually think Trump said, drink disinfectant.
Yeah.
He didn't fucking say it.
No.
I'm like, there's no fucking way he said that. There can't be.
There's no way.
There's no way. So I go and I listen. And he was discussing the possibilities of disinfecting kill. Yeah, he didn't know what he's talking about.
No.
I'll tell you that. He did not know what he was talking about. However, he never said,
drink
disinfectant. And I actually had this conversation on Twitter with someone.
Yeah.
And said, blah, blah, blah. He said, drink disinfectant. And I replied, he didn't say drink disinfectant.
Yeah.
And then he says, yes, he did. So then I quoted.
Yeah.
And put it in. And he said, see? I'm like, see what? You literally can't read.
Yeah.
He literally did not say drink it.
Yeah.
If you hear it, then you've got the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, there's enough. Trump says enough stupid shit on his own. You don't need to make it up.
Make it up.
So why are
exactly.
we making it up?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to.
No.
Why go there? Just let him say his own stupid shit and don't lie about it. It's dumb enough as it is on its own.
Yeah. You got to play good Trump, bad Trump, where when he does something good, give him some credit. But they won't even do that.
No, they don't do that.
He does something good, they twist it and turn it into something bad.
I'd say his foreign policy is pretty good.
Yeah, foreign policy is good. He did that thing where he made abuse to animals a federal crime. Mm-hmm. Like, he passed it. He didn't, come up with a bill maybe, but he allowed it through. That's the only time. That's the one time I saw people on my Facebook give Trump credit.
Oh, really?
That's the one time in his presidency where all my friends that are, so anti-Trump were like, okay, that's a good thing. That's good. Because they love animals, right? Everyone loves animals.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they taste delicious.
They taste delicious. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not hypocritical to say, I love dogs and I'm not going to eat them, but I also love cows because they taste delicious.
Yeah.
They're different. They're different animals.
Yeah, some people don't see it that way, but...
No.
I mean, I ate chicken tonight.
Yeah.
Probably, better if I eat less meat, but, whatever.
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows?
They actually, and again,
I've been following this guy on TikTok that actually talks about grazing and grass-fed, and if done properly, it actually the grazing and it stores carbon in the soil because of the manure going back into the soil.
Yeah.
He's got all these technical reasons that I can't understand because I don't get it, but he actually says it's putting carbon into the soil, taking carbon out of the atmosphere, putting it into the soil if it's done right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also heard from quite a few people and from one of my buddies who researches everything. You have to know this guy that when he says something, he's looked into it, extensively. That's what he does in his free time. And they've looked into it and they theorized that the human brain started developing more once we started eating meat.
Oh, yes.
So way back...
Now, is it that after we discovered fire and started cooking the meat to get...
Yeah. So it's
cooking or just eating meat?
Now, that's where I'm not totally sure on the details of it. But he was saying that, the human brain started growing, getting bigger, developing once we started eating meat and getting whatever proteins or vitamins were in meat.
Yeah, some amino acid or something.
Yeah, something like that. And the reason why I know that we're meant to eat meat is if you're vegan or vegetarian, you'll have to take supplements to get certain vitamins that you can only get from meat. So that tells me that our body needs meat. If you have to take a vitamin that's manufactured somewhere, not naturally, produced by us, to get the proper nutrition in your diet, then there's something wrong. Like, I get it if you want to be vegan or vegetarian because, you know, you really love animals and the system that we have for farming them is horrible. I will say that I do not like the factory farms and how the animals are treated and raised for our consumption. I 100% wholeheartedly support hunting. That's the best way to eat meat, is the animal gets its life in the wild and then it gets taken out like it would if a lion or a bear took it down. You know, like obviously we use guns because we can use our brains, but that's our way to hunt. We don't have razor sharp claws or teeth to take it down and by the neck. You know, we invent things, spears, guns, you know, harpoons, whatever it is. But everyone's allowed, and that's what I love about this country. These people are free. They can do whatever they want. It's just when they start pushing their belief on other people that I have a problem with it. You know, religion, veganism, vegetarian, it's like having a big dick. It's nice. It's good to be proud of it, but don't walk around shoving it down people's throats.
Yeah. That's a bombshell. Well, but we're like an hour and 40. I think that's, we've basically pissed everyone off.
Have we?
Well,
who did we leave out? Who did we leave out? Women. We didn't bag on women enough.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
No.
I love women.
I love women too.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess this has been pretty good. We'll do this again, right?
Yeah.
It's been fun.
I liked it.
Yeah. This is completely unscripted too, which is good, I think. Did you like the organic sort of...
Yeah.
Let the conversation just go where it would. The only thing I thought of before is just talking about your underwear and underwear company, AllieTyson.ca.
Yeah.
I just thought I want to give you the plug at the beginning because that, you know what, like the majority of people listening to a podcast don't
watch the whole thing.
Listen or watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Want to get your plug at the beginning. Not that it's going to do anything. I mean, literally 3 viewers.
Yeah.
But
could be 3 sales.
Could be 3. Yeah, 3 sales.
Yeah.
103 sales.
No, I'm at 102 now.
Oh, geez, look at that.
I sold 2 today.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I had kind of premeditated today when I was thinking about, oh yeah, we're gonna do a podcast tonight. Yeah. What are we gonna talk about? And I was like, oh yeah, I gotta do that. Do that. The rest, I was like trying to keep my like mind clear.
Yeah.
Of the podcast so that we didn't. Like, I didn't know what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, it felt good. And there wasn't any long pauses. You know, we kept filling.
Yeah, I think, well, that's the way it is when you're talking to a buddy.
Yeah.
This is what this is.
And when you're talking about ideas, it just goes back and forth. And then that idea leads to, you know, maybe another problem that exists or something else that, you know, you
comes
think
to
about.
mind,
that comes to mind when that person's talking about something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. All right.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Okay. Cheers.